Volleyball was created in February 1995 by William George Morgan. In the following years, the sport spread throughout the world. Rules of the game: play field. The field where the game is played is a rectangle 18 long by 9 width, divided in the central line by a narrow curve that separates the two ends. Actually, the game also takes place outside in different zones, provided that the bats does not touch the ground or an other element. The free zone must have a plate 3 meters measure that 40 feet wide and of its competence increasing to 5 on the latter lines and on 6 5 40 bottom line. The first pass on the track must have a minimum height of 7 that international competence reaches to. The contact on the place with the ground being continued, usual using protection in the joint. The surfer cannot be wrong or speed line. The center line runs direct below the knob and divides the game track into both 199 zones on forward side and 3 from the net and line dancing in each field. The action zones are where 10 actions on the play where and the mount in defensive tax are resting. This line extends to the outside of the field with its continued line and the limitation they represent in protected a wall on the wall line. Every point the draw line and line are 5 wing R's and R's. The field of play is survey and print zone and like 3 meters wide in which the ball is also often to play. 4 hands and hims of 4 high, a height of 7 meters free on the play so far as recommended. 4 where they son many all impediments such as basketball, basket or ring. 1. First zone. 2. Central line. 3. Both line. 4. Seat line. 5. A train line. 6. Service R. 7. Defensive zone. 9. Fits fair. Circumference and frame beds. The natural. In the central axis of the field, exactly in the central line that divides the field, a network is placed that is fits into at one time the empty from the floor to the foot. It is in the adult category of for men and for women.
About the game, and the objective of the game is for a team to pass the ball over the net and touch the floor of the opponent's court. and also to prevent the opposite team from doing the same in their own field. Each team has 3 touches to pass the ball to the opposite field. The ball is put into play with a serve that is struck by the server that tries to send it to the opponent's field over the net. The game continues until the ball hits the pavement, goes out, or a team can return it in conditions. The team that wins the play scores the point. When the point is won by the team that didn't draw, it also gets the serve for the next point, and its players must rotate in a clockwise direction. Each team plays with 6 players that can be substituted with conditions. 3 of the players from the front line in attack tags, and the other 3 are placed behind and act as defenders of defenders. The complete team can be formed by a maximum of 14 players, 12 plus and 2 liberos.
Rotation introduces a great variability on the position of the player on both teams, interact and complicates the approach of game strategies. Game the high number of combinations. They can be guided through a game with the rotation of the play on the 2 teams. Statistics is a fundamental element to analyze the match players. So when a team scores a point will be responsible for putting the ball into play. When the server is snatched, the 6 players have to rotate their position in the field in a close direction. This means 3 and 3 players, except the libero, alternate in front and back position, can line up to special players called liberos. A libero is a defensive player who can enter and leave the field continuously, replacing one of the other players when they are in a defensive position. As recognizable because they wear a different color uniform to the rest of the team. 2. Because you cannot be a team captain or a game captain. You cannot take out. You cannot block or attempt to block. You cannot complete an act when the ball is completely above the net. You can make a free hit, but you cannot jump to carry it off. You can make a finger pass in the front area or area off. You can make a finger pass in the front zone or front zone as long as the attacker hits the ball below the top edge of the net.
The volleyball matches are played to the best of 5 batch or blocks of points they received. At the moment, one of the 2 teams accumulates 3 sets won. The match wins a team match is considered concluded. A team wins a set when it reaches or sets 25 points with a lead of 2. If necessary, the 5th set, the tiebreaker, the goal is to get 15 points and keep the 2 advantage. This set has thus a shorter duration. The duration of the volleyball matches is very variable. You may need to play 3 to 5 sets and have a variable duration from about an hour to even more 2.5 hours. Point engagement when the opposing team commits any of the following fouls or infractions. If the ball touches the ground within the field itself, whether the last touch corresponds to a player of its own or to one of the opposing team. If the ball ends up outside the playing court either by an incorrect attack on the opposing field or by an error trying to defend, the foul corresponds to the player and the team that touched the ball for the last time and the opposite is scored. It is considered outside the contact with the ceiling, public, or any element of the pavilion or the same collegiate. The contact with the net, post, or rods on the outside to the side bench is also outside. If the number of the 3 touch always is exceeded without having passed it to the ball to the opposite field, or if the same player plays the ball twice in a row as an exception in case of a blocking touch. That first touch isn't counted for the lack of the 14 touches for the individual double. If at the time of the service the players are placing incorrect, that is, they are not adjust to the corresponding rotation. If the touch of the ball is incorrect and there is retention or accompaniment, if a home player attack beyond the attack line, the libero can participate in any way they blocked and has restricted the attack as has already been seen. If a player penetrates the opposite field below the net, interfere with the opponent's game, or if one foot completely closes the center line. If there is contact with the net between the rods when playing in the ball, regardless of whether this interferes with the game. It is also lacking contact with the outside net, part of the rods, or any of the posts of accessories element if this interferes with the game, and if a resection is made with the missing fingers, doubling the contact.
Launch of service, a player performing a jump in suspension for service or service. The jump allows the hitting to be high and therefore facilitates crossing the net and impacting harder. Each point starts with a kick of the ball off the baseline into the air and hit to the opposite field looking for the weak points of the opponent's repetition. It can be done standing or jumping. The direction of the service is important because the opposing player, who is forced to receive the shot, is limited to participate in the subsequent attack. To execute, the right back player must be placed in the service area and wait for the sound of the youth whistle, and the ball must be dropped or thrown into the air. With the bat hit by service, each team must be within its home field interward and play and perform with the corresponding rotation, except the player who performs the service. The three players of the net are the forwards and occupy the positions of 4 from left, 3 from center, and 2 from right. The other 3 are behind and are the back players occupying the position of 5 left back, 6 center back, and 1 back right. Each back row player must be farther from the center line than their corresponding forward. The changes in the regulation of the service have made that the act of the service goes from being a simple way of putting to be an offensive weapon. The suspension service is where you can develop the maximum power, since the increation come and technique in the men's teams. The distance per service required by the service depends on the length of tries and the numbers of the space used, usually between 3 and 5 meters from the baseline. Players who want to props usually make the move to 1 or 2 hands, while those who use a longer run 3 or more supports, usually through the ball with the dominant hand, either at the start or with the race
allows greater momentum in the jump of the punch. The action of whirling and hitting is equal to that of the shot against the next. The repetition is inserted and control the ball that comes from the service of the opposing team. The repetition of the service is a critical technique in volleyball, which must be trained allowed until well mastered. In addition to technical difficulty of counteracting of the force of the ball, the pass resulting from this repetition must take the breath control and direction towards a specific area in order to ensure a good attack to avenge the point. Therefore, this blow needs the heated precision and the usual history to do it. The form strict attack when they are not disposing possession of the service. The importance of receiving service is that it's necessary first step to build in an effective attack, because if the repetition is defective, the ball will arrive badly, the setter or will not arrive and will not allow an effective attack to be built. Therefore, the objectives of the repetition are to neutralize the opposite service and to facilitate the construction of the own attack to the maximum, placing the ball in the best possible conditions. The pass which forms the usual one in the repetition is done by extending the elbow completely and masking rotation of the firms so that the baiting is done with the inner face of the same theory as the front moment of contact with the ball requires that the hands be joined with the thumbs together parallel and symmetrical.
Action. The player jumping finally sends the ball with force to the opposite side, looking for play the defended places, or against the opposite playing in condition of speed or direction such that they can control it and the ball goes out. The player can also choose to cheat or feint, leaving the end a softball. That isn't expected. On the contrary, although 3 touches or equipment are available in attack, may be made on the first touch to find the opposite team misplaced or unprepared. This action aimed to intercept any attack of the opposing team, jumping next to the net with raised arms, seeking to return the ball directly to the opposite field, or failing that, narrowing the attack field to induce him to throw the ball out of the field play. Up to 3 players can participate in the log break to increase the chance of interception. Also important will be the help of the second line to recover the ball in case of failed block. One of the options that the attacker has is jump is precisely not to avoid it, but to throw the ball with force directly against the blockade, forcing the failure and the corresponding leg. Now talking about the attack systems is having a mentality of attack in volleyball is the usual because success in engagement by attack. The attack is the most important aspect of volleyball, although we try to fight against this imbalance by means of continuous modifications of the rules. A team is composed of players that are 24. Setter is the player in charge of the second pass or attack construction pass. The remate is the player in charge of the third contact or action. The universal is the player who can take of both roles as setter of actioners. The libero are the player who always plays in the back areas who can finish takeoff or place in the front zone. And the service reception systems, the training for the reception of service has changed in recent years. In men's volleyball, all teams receive a similar system. The basic training used is with only two receivers if there is no jump in the serve, and three when the serve is extended in jump. On the other hand, in the feminine, there is a greater variation with formation or reception of 5, 4, 3, and 2 players.